Alright, today we're in the fish room and we are talking about hustling to provide money for your fish. Some of the ways that you can do that are breeding fish, growing plants, breeding shrimp. But today specifically, we're going to focus on growing plants. Now, I focus on growing plants because I feel that that is one of the most consistent and easy ways to make money to fund your fish room. The reason I think that is because once you have a set up system, it's pretty much set it and forget it. I'm going to tell you the things that I had to get to set the system up. We're going to talk about the lighting that I use, the racking system, the tanks, the tubs, everything it takes to get you set up for under $500. My favorite part about talking about plant grow outs is the fact that once you get them set up, they're pretty much a self-contained unit, you know. If you are breeding fish in them as well, which you can do, that does add a little bit of a complication to it. But if you're just growing plants, it's super, super simple once you get everything set up. You know, we got to talk about the build. So you're going to need to get a hold of a shelving unit. You know, I would suggest going to a Menards or a Home Depot and just getting one of the industrial shelving units that they sell there. You won't have to worry about building it, cutting it, any of that stuff. Some people really like doing the homemade setups with the cinder blocks or the wood. You could totally do something like that. You might save money. Nowadays, I'm not really sure if you will actually be able to save some money. These racks right here, I have the 3 shelf version, but there's a 2 shelf version and a 4 shelf version. The 3 shelf version comes out to about $150 when it's on sale, I believe. The 2 shelf version's even cheaper than that. For this episode, you know, for what we're talking about, we'll just talk about the 2 shelf version, because if you're just starting a basic plant grow out, that gets you 3 levels. You're not going to need much more than that. All right, so you can get one of those shelving units from Menards, and we'll call that about $100. You know, $100 purchase, right? You could build this whole plant grow out for just about $500, probably under, excluding, you know, finding all your plant cultures. And depending on how you go about that, depending on your friends and the local market that you have, that might not even be that bad too. So we'll see how this is gonna go here, guys. So this is my plant grow out. I use Higer lights. My friends at Higer actually sent me one of these. Now, what I want to talk about with Higer is their build quality. Build quality, quality of light. They're a full spectrum light. The brightness that you get out of them for the price, you really can't beat it. These were super affordable. I think these are about a $60 light. If you go to their website, you could check that out. Higer5 will get you a 5% discount, and it will also give me a little bit of a kickback if you guys are looking to purchase one of these. But anyways, these lights right here, what I love about them is this square build. Now you'll notice in some aquarium lights, when they have those long spans, they get that drooping. And that drooping, you know, that just isn't very aesthetically pleasing. What I love about these is they don't droop. You can have them span over a long tank, and they're going to maintain that rigidity. Also, I love the color contrast. With Higer lights compared to other lights, a lot of lights have more of a yellowish, orangish hue. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it. These Higer lights give you that contrast, that depth of field, the emotional pull from the lighting. I don't know how to describe it. It's something that you have to kind of see in person more than can be described. It's just my favorite lighting quality. Also, they come in a bunch of different. Higer has a bunch of different styles of lights. My favorites are the ones with the inline timers, just to keep it super basic, and I like to pair those with a Wi-Fi timer. This specific version, you know, comes in a bunch of different lengths. So I have this is a 48 inch, and then I have what is this, like I don't know, like an 18-inch light or something like that, and then I have another one that's even smaller than that, you know, for the nano 2.5 gallon tanks. So They cover all the different sizes. And then once paired with a Wi-Fi timer, you could turn them on and off from your phone. All right. You set a schedule. Once you have that lighting schedule figured out, that's a large chunk of what you have to do when you're figuring out a plant grow out. Okay. So basically, you're going to have a setup similar to this. You could fit about 4 of these black tubs side by side along here. You can do a basic aqua soil. I use like fluval stratum is my go-to aqua soil. You could do that, or you could even just do a pea gravel. You could do pea gravel with some stem plants, and you start getting those plants to start growing out and filling up those tubs. Once you have that going and you have that plant light schedule figured out, it's a pretty simple way of funding your fish room. After that, you just have to work on the hardest part, which is building your reputation in a community and everything. Now, when it comes to a plant grow out, there's a couple different ways to run them. Now, this is ran like a regular pond. It's just got a substrate built into it, and I grew a bunch of Vallisneria through there. We got some frog bait growing, and just like a regular pond, got some guppies in there. And this works amazing for a plant grow out, especially when powered by a higher light. If you don't want to do this and you want an easier to harvest option, you can grow some plants in some of these, and then you could also use potted plants. Now, I do individual potted plants every now and then. I'm starting to move away from it because it's not exactly the easiest version of selling plants. So if you do something like this, you can get, the plastic potted plants on Amazon, or you could find a different way of buying those. You can get some rock wool, and then you could just take your stem cuttings, pot them up, and leave them in here. And when you're ready to sell them, you just pull a pot, put it in a plastic bag, and go on with your day. Now, that might sound easier than it is. To be honest, I think that taking the stem cuttings, which is the way I used to do it, kind of just, cut off a chunk of stem and throw it in a bag for people. It's a lot easier to harvest, a lot easier to run like that. There's give and trades with everything, though. That's the problem. Is you got to figure out what's going to work best for you. Do you want to harvest per sale, or do you want to have a set amount of inventory? How are you going to keep track of your inventory is another question. Keeping track of your inventory is easier when you have these potted plants, but it means you have to set them up and you have to have that part of your day built in. Now, that's not exactly my favorite thing. That's why I'm leaning towards just doing the stem cuts and selling them that way. It just seems a lot easier. And look at those beautiful hydro lights up there. Oh, man. I have way too many fish nets, guys. So many fish nets. I thought I was going to be all safe and quarantine everything, and these fish nets have been in every freaking tank. Let's be honest. Okay, so if you want me to give you a quick shopping list here, and you wanted to build this, maybe you want to get it done today, you could build yourself a business today for less than $500. That's just the foundation of a business, though. Obviously, building a business takes time, building a reputation takes time. But if you want to get the foundation built today, we can get you started. All right? You're going to go to Menards. You're going to pick up one of these industrial shelving racks. It's going to be the 2-rack version. All right? That's going to cost you about $100, maybe just under, maybe just over, depending on the sale they're running that day. You're going to pick up 8 Performax black plastic tubs. The black plastic tubs and the Performax ones, they're the ones with the nice thick lip. The reason I prefer these over the other ones is when I look at all my other, tubs that I've had, some of them bow. These ones do not bow. So you'll be able to get 8 of them fit rather easily on that. You could actually go for 12 if you wanted to do the 3-rack. You want to have a bottom row of grow outs, a middle row of grow outs and a top row of grow outs. The only thing I would suggest against that though is you want some room for storage. So maybe you just have 2 rows of grow outs, easier to mount your lights, and then maybe that top row is your storage stuff. So your bottom is one of your grow outs, your middle is one of your grow outs, or your top shelf, and you figure out how you want to set that up. But so you need, all that you can get for, I got my tubs for $8 a piece. I think they're actually under $10. So that would be rounded off to about 200 bucks between the shelving and the tubs there, after tax and everything. So that's $200. Okay, so then you're gonna need a few Hygger lights, right? So you're gonna need to go to Hygger.com, and you're gonna type in that K Hygger 5 to get that discount once you put these into your cart there. I'm gonna have a link in the description there for these lights, so make sure you check that out. But these lights right here, you're gonna need, you could get away with 4 of them, but the way I have it set up is I would run 2 of these and then maybe a shorter one at the end, right? So you can get that full coverage and everything. So 2 of the 48 inches, 1 of the 18, 60, 120, 60, 120, so 240 in lights. With the other one, with the 2 small ones, you're looking about, maybe $300 in lights, which sounds expensive. But once you have that all set up, you're good to go, guys. You can have all of those plugged in, set up. You get 1 set of Wi-Fi timers, and you are good to go. All right, you have a business that is built for just about $500, and all you have to do is go on Amazon or go on Facebook, start advertising, start looking into the local Facebook groups, and really get your name out there. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it, guys. If you guys have any questions, look at those links in the description. I'll throw some shots in there of the different items that you could pick up at Menards. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.